publicly. And my guess is they did him a solid by signing him early. They've called his agent to redo the contract, and the agent said we're not giving any money back. And so they're kind of trapped. Their futures are tied to Goff. I would argue this, Coach, that Goff is not. He's only $22 million a year. He's won 9 games with McVay. He's had signature wins. He outdueled Mahomes. I think Goff, there's 10 teams that may need a quarterback. I think he's got a market somewhere. Do you?
Yes, I do. I think now, personally, I think Jared Goff is one of these quarterbacks that can get you to the playoffs every year. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it yet on a consistent basis that he can win a Super Bowl for you. And I'm going back to his college days. You know, when he was at Cal and they played Utah, the best defense in the Pac-12, and the USC's. You know, there was always problems. He had a tough time getting over the hump. And that's where I see him. I mean, I see him make some great throws, but I'll tell you what, with McVay, you could not have a more quarterback-friendly offense. I mean, truly, the way he, draws it up and calls plays with the run and play-action passes, it's designed to give a quarterback that has some ability, which he has, success. So I think they stay with him another year and see if he can turn it around. But that's how I see it. Can he get you to the playoffs? Yes. Is he going to win a Super Bowl for you? I haven't seen that yet. I don't see it.
Listen, in the 8 years Belichick hasn't had Brady, 6 of them are losing seasons, and the other, he didn't go to the playoffs. Are you at least surprised at the gap in Belichick without Brady and how much he struggled?
No, and I'll tell you what, a lot of the things that Tom Brady, and this is from a coaching perspective that people don't want to give Bill Belichick credit for. Tom Brady, when you look at the influence that he's had on the whole Tampa franchise, and Bruce Arians has said that, this guy has influenced and taken our whole franchise to another level. Their turnovers are down, their penalties are down, doing the little things right. And I have a nephew who's a trainer at the Bucs. I mean, just on a day-to-day basis, this is all Bill Belichick. Tom Brady didn't show up at New England and get this whole big picture from Michigan. So you got to give Bill Belichick maybe not credit for Tom's ability to throw touchdowns, but to be in position and put the team in position to win, that's all Bill Belichick.
Yeah. It's funny. There's been a lot of coaching hires. A lot of them I don't get. Some I kind of like. Houston still doesn't have one. Is there one coaching hire so far that, Brandon Staley, young guy, Rams to the Chargers, Arthur Smith, Atlanta, Robert Saleh, Jets, Dan Campbell, Detroit. Which one am I missing here, Joey? I'm probably missing a couple. Is there one that you look at and you think to yourself, oh, yeah, that's going to work? Is there one that jumps out to you as, Urban Meyer to the Jags? Is there one you like?
Yeah, you just said it. I would say Urban Meyer. I mean, because the rest of these guys, some of these guys haven't even been in a playoff game or won a playoff game or, more importantly, made a decision in a playoff game. As a coordinator, it's 4th and 1. What are you going to call? So I would say Urban Meyer. And we know all the reasons that they got draft picks and that they got extra cap money. But I think Urban Meyer is going to be able to lay out a blueprint that's a successful blueprint, and he's going to have success there. I talked to him last week about an assistant coach that he called me about possibly hiring, and he's got the blueprint, and he's not a micromanager. He's gonna set the foundation for the big picture, offense, defense, special teams, and his coaches are gonna do the coaching. So I think that's the right approach. He's not going to be on the field trying to teach a 5-year All-Pro how to how to get off a block and make a tackle. He's not going to do that.
Dave, your record is shockingly good as a head coach in the NFL, despite the fact you never had Pro Bowl quarterbacks and often in your division faced Pro Bowl quarterbacks. So if you have a star quarterback, sometimes you have to deal with some ego and stuff. Would you have been bothered by what Aaron Rodgers said after he lost? Almost kind of a little blame game. What do you make of what he said?
Well, I think the whole Green Bay Packer organization right now, there's what I would call friendly fire. And friendly fire within a football team I'm talking about is, the defense is doing not enough. The offense is turning the ball over, the coaching, and there's some of that going on. I saw Matt LaFleur said he don't know why we were in that call on defense. It was a terrible call when Brady threw the touchdown pass before the half. Well, you're the head coach. Change the call. That's how I see it. But I was not bothered by what Aaron Rodgers said because the emotions right now, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, I was all on Green Bay for that game, and it was a darn shame that they don't win that football game. And we all know the reasons why. So I think there was some real frustration there. I think what's going to happen, and what should happen, if I'm the head coach, I'm calling Aaron Rodgers in and saying, we're going to sign you, we're going to draft you a top free agent receiver. We're going to get you. You got to add some pieces to the pile to help him right now. I mean, he got sacked by a 4-man rush. And to me, that's coaching. That's kind of what the Bears have gone through. Release everybody out for a pass, and you got a left tackle that's getting beat, and you give him no help. He's a backup player. It wasn't his fault. And they didn't. So, I mean, I would be frustrated, too, if I was Aaron Rodgers. Absolutely.
How about that? The coach sticking up for I like that. That's the new Dave wants that. I like that.
I watched the game, Colin. I sat there and watched the game.
No.
What do you want me to say?
No,
just not listen. If I only listened to your show and never watched the game, I might have a different opinion. Jeez.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Well, let me throw this one out to you. So you're very popular in Chicago. You do radio hits. You're beloved. And anytime you're on, the ratings spike, and they're going crazy. They want a new quarterback. And you've told me before that, and I believe you. You told me a lot of things privately about Mitch Trubisky. You're like, I can win games with Mitch Trubisky. I don't know if I can win a bunch of playoff games, but I can win games. And they actually, whether it was public or private or something, osmosis, they took your advice because the way they played with Trubisky at the end of the year was exactly what you told me in my ear for 8 weeks off the air, which is you can win games with Trubisky, just not a Super Bowl. So let me just throw this out. Deshaun Watson demanding to be traded. If you were Deshaun Watson and I could go to Miami and get a great coach, I could go to Chicago and get a great defense, I could go to New York and be a star, what would you choose? You're his agent. Where would you tell him to go?
I would go someplace with a new head coach that was going to run an offensive philosophy that I believed in. The only problem with Chicago, and I hope Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, the general manager, are there 10 years. But, I mean, they are on the clock to win next year. And boy, I'll tell you what, these quarterbacks, you can jump teams as a defensive lineman, and it works out quick. But as a quarterback, with all the adjustments, run game, pass-wise, checks, audibles, signals. I mean, there's so much at the quarterback position. It is not easy for these guys to jump teams. And to go someplace where you don't believe you're going to be there 2, 3, 4 years, I think would be a mistake for them. So I would look at, if I was going to leave and I was going to advise Deshaun Watson, I would say we got to look at stability first. Somebody that believes in your offense. You were talking about Mitch Trubisky. They did with Mitch that gives him the best chance to be successful. But I don't think Matt Nagy really believes that. That's not his offensive philosophy. They did it to try to survive, and which they did, and they got into the playoffs. But I don't think in his heart that he believes in that system. Get into a system.
That's good stuff. I always love having the coach on, honestly. Dave Wannstedt, Fox Sports NFL analyst. I'm not going to tell you where he is. It's a secret, but it's a very nice place. I'll just say that. Coach, good talking to you.
Okay, always.
He is so connected. And in my years, I swear to God, between him and Jimmy Johnson, they know where all the bodies are buried.
For sure.
Those guys.
For sure.
If I ask Wannstedt a question, he'll go, Chief, let me tell you. He'll either text somebody, call somebody. He has an answer every time. It's the most connected. I've been in this business 35 years. Never met anybody that connected. You just hang around Jimmy Johnson for a decade, you end up meeting a lot of people.
Well, think about where the two of them have been.
First of all, they dominated at Miami, and then they dominate Oklahoma State. They made it into a pro. Then they go to the Cowboys. Then he goes to the Bears and Chicago. He knows every owner. He knows all. And plus, Dave's such a nice guy. Everybody likes to be around him. He's one of those guys you always...
He makes you feel very comfortable.
Yeah, he's got his great stories. I once flew, this sounds so bougie. It's a long story. It was my first day at the company. So I did, my hair was all messed up. I did a Michigan-Utah game. It was the first thing I did. I didn't do the show first thing. It was Harbaugh's first game at Michigan.
Right.
And they played Utah, and they flew us back on a private jet. It was very nice of the company. And I sat next to Wannstedt. I was tired. He didn't stop talking for 2 hours. He told 30 stories. At one point, I sat and turned to whoever the other people were, and I'm like, is this what he's like every day? And they're like, yeah. Dave just tells stories. And they were all fascinating.
Well, he's the best stories.
Today is Jersey Mike's day on the herd. Yeah, it is. In these crazy times, Jersey Mike's is so convenient. Clean pickup stations for the app and the online orders. Their app is no contact at the door or delivery at Jersey Mike's. You'll find all kinds of chicken, cheese steaks, some Philly, some bacony, all fresh off the grill, tasty. It's all about ingredients at Jersey Mike's. Freshly baked bread, perfectly sliced fresh produce, highest quality meats piled high. Each and every sub fresh to order. Never pre-sliced, never pre-packaged. Jersey Mike subs made authentically. The produce, sliced, cut, cared each every morning from